the legal experts talk on this issue, and I learned a lot myself. I just like to go to, oh, and I wanted to say how much I appreciate Phyllis Schlafly. And I don't know how many of you don't know who she is, but if you should know who she is, she's been given credit for years for being the one to defeat ERA, even though it was being pushed by both parties. And it looked like an unbelievable task, but so it is a historic moment for me to hear her speak today. But I like to go to the quotes of the people involved to see what they say about a situation, and I found this on the web the other day from National Women's Organization, and it says basically they're saying they even want it so it will protect partial birth abortion. It says, since 1973, a woman's right to terminate a pregnancy has been under continuous attack. These attacks come in the state legislatures, the U.S. Congress, the courts, and at women's health clinics. The latest assault by the Congress has been on the late-term abortion technique known as dilation and extraction. That's the medical term for the legal term partial birth abortion. This bill passed by both houses of Congress would have outlawed the abortion method, but the bill was stalled by a presidential veto. So to the people, the feminists that are pushing this is what they are saying, that they want it there to protect partial birth abortion. And then they say mandatory pregnancy has become the reality for many young and poor women, and that the real issue for women is the right to bodily integrity, and without this basic right, women can have no true freedom. That says to me, no freedom unless they can terminate a pregnancy at any time, even partial birth abortion, and have it paid for by taxpayers. Then they talk about lesbian and gay rights, and they say currently lesbians and gay men are discriminated against in areas of basic employment, parenting, marriage, and housing rights. Numerous court decisions demonstrate the need to establish a constitutional amendment. Many cases illustrate the pervasive discrimination against lesbians and gay men, and this would prevent judges from being able to use a person's morality in the event of custody. And then this is what they say. This is the exact quote. Couldn't an amendment based on sex, meaning the ERA, cover all the issues? And they say the short answer is yes. Theoretically, a court could interpret a prohibition against sex discrimination to include the protection of lesbian and gay as well as reproductive rights. However, we have learned not to leave anything to chance, and the proposed CEA says explicitly what we want. The CEA is what they're going to next, constitutional equal amendment, where they spell it all out, and that's what they want with the ERA, and they know it's possible, but they don't take any chances. So that's their words, not mine.
Thank you very much. We thank you for your testimony. At this time, we'd like to recognize Lisa.
Committee members, my name is Lisa Burke. Some of you may know me, some of you don't. I am sort of a semi-retired voting activist in the state. I fought for about 5 years to get the paper receipts on your electronic voting machines that show who you placed your vote for. Many of you on this committee backed that bill the second go around that Representative Sumter and Ray Kidd introduced. First time, some of the committee members voted it down. So I'm no stranger in front of this committee. I'm here today for a different reason. By the way, we did get that passed. We do have paper on our machines. It's not enough, but it is a start. The bottom line, as I was driving here today, you know, as a good law-abiding citizen of this state, I was driving obeying the speed limit, obeying the insurance laws. I had my proof of insurance in my glove box. I had my seatbelt on. Clicking your ticket. Isn't that right? Isn't that a law passed by the Arkansas legislature? And so that applies to who? To men and to women, right? To all citizens of driving age. So I'm driving. I'm playing by the rules because that's who I am and that's what I do. And it dawns on me that, you know what? Why in the world does this apply to me? Because under our Constitution and the Constitution of this great nation, I'm not considered an equal under the law here or of the United States Constitution, however, but men are. And I am no sexist by any way. I know many people here I know many good Arkansans. I am a friend to men and to women, children, mothers, fathers, all the above. My point is, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. It is 2007. Okay, it's 2007. This original ERA amendment was introduced in 1923. Now back then, women weren't allowed to own property. Women were not allowed to divorce. By the way, to my friends here, and I do wholeheartedly, more than you'll ever know, respect the right to your First Amendment rights to freedom of expression. As an American, I'm sure everybody in here would absolutely die to keep that right the way it is right now. That is what makes this country great. Bottom line is, let's don't read anything into this amendment that's not in there, or this House Joint Resolution that's not in there. And I wrote it down off of the website, and this is what it says. Because we have gotten sidetracked, we've gone around it, we've gone upside down it, and all over it. But the bottom line is, all we are saying is let us be equal in the eyes of the law. And I want to touch for a minute on unemployment insurance and how much a woman makes in this state and how much a man does, because I used to file unemployment insurance claims, and I know how much women make as opposed to men in the same job. I filed their claims, I saw their quarterly wages for years, I know how little they make trying to raise the future citizens of this state who will someday sit in your seats in this very committee room and decide policy that will be voted in front of the full House and later in front of the full Senate. Those are our kids. Let's do the right thing by them, and let's vote decide a committee, a due pass, as Martha Schaffner said. And let's show our kids respecting each other, and the battle of the sexes be over. And, you know, by the way, I have to mention something else before I read you this quote, and I'm making this really short because there's been a long table of discussion. This doesn't have anything to do with abortion in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't care what Massachusetts did, Representative Greenberg. I don't care what Connecticut did. This is an Arkansas issue. If we ratify this, our House Joint Resolution says simply, to provide equal rights under the law shall not be denied nor abridged by the United States government or by any state due to sex. Now, how am I going to have an abortion out of that? How am I going to have a partial birth abortion out of that? How am I going to marry a gay man out of that? I can't, because it's not possible. It doesn't apply. That's apple and oranges. Voters in the state already voted the marriage amendment down, did they not? Now, another thing I want to leave you with is this. Now, because we don't want to end up like Japan, which has been referenced here many times today, I have a quote from the former Japanese health minister that I think applies, and it's never been more fitting, and then I will leave you with this thought. He says, because the number of birth-giving machines and devices is fixed, all we can do is ask them to do their best per head. He's talking about women. Birth-giving machines, because they have a population problem and the number of childbearing age women there is fixed. All we can do is ask the birth-giving machines and devices to do their best per head. Although it may not be so appropriate to call them machines. That's Haku Yaganasawa, former Japanese health minister. This is America. It's 2007. Let me be the equal citizen under the law that I pay my taxes for. I'm raising my son to be. He'll pay his taxes here, and his own mother as a woman couldn't vote in this country till the 1921 era. Okay? And then since then, I'm considered a second-class citizen. All of your mothers were too. All of you are here today because of the votes of many, many women. And what is it? 65% of the women control the gross domestic spending in this country. How many percentage of women in this state, if we stop buying stuff today and boycott it today because we're considered second-class citizens, what's that going to do for our general revenue fund?
Ms. Burks, I hate to cut you off. We have one question.
Go ahead.
We have one question from a committee member. We still have two people to squeeze in here in about 5 or 10 minutes. So we really need to
I've
move
got to
along.
go to work. Mr. Chairman, and I do, and I have worked for bosses that don't care about me as a woman and would gladly fire me. So I do need to go. I've been here a long time, too.
Representative Adcock, you're recognized for a question.
That's okay, if she needs to go, let her go. Thank you.
Oh, no,
Thank you.
please, I'll make time for